Welcome to our deep dive into the top 10 subnational service delivery models and strategies. Well, no, this isn't about booming baselines, but it is about something arguably more important: how governments deliver essential services to you, the citizen. These approaches are essential for ensuring that services reach communities effectively, especially in decentralized or federal systems. Think of it like this. You wouldn't expect a single restaurant to cater to the culinary desires of an entire country, would you? You'd have your regional specialties, your local favorites, your hole-in-the-wall gems. One size fits all, more like one size fits none. So, buckle up as we unpack these models and strategies, exploring how they work, their pros and cons, and some real-world examples. Decentralized service delivery. Imagine a plate of nachos. Some of you like to smother the entire plate in cheese, others prefer a delicate drizzle on each chip. Decentralization is like that chip-by-chip approach to governance. It's about transferring authority from national to local governments, empowering those who know the land best to make decisions, tailored services for different needs. But there's a catch. It hinges on strong local governance. If your local government is chaotic, decentralization might not work. Next up, we're delving into the world of public-private partnerships, or PPPs. Think of it as the governmental equivalent of a joint venture where the public and private sectors team up to get things done. Essentially, subnational governments say, hey, private sector, you're good at efficiency and innovation. We could use a bit of that. PPPs are often used for infrastructure projects like water supply, waste management, or that beloved public transportation system that's always running just slightly behind schedule. It's like outsourcing your plumbing to a professional while you focus on, not having your house flooded. And there's always a but, PPPs require careful oversight. We've all seen what happens when corporations are left to their own devices. It's a symphony of unchecked greed and environmental devastation. We need to make sure these partnerships actually benefit the public good and not just a select few already wealthy individuals. Let's talk about community-based models. Who knows a community better than the folks who live there? If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Communities take charge of managing public services, often with help from local governments or NGOs. It's about empowering communities to identify needs and craft solutions. Think of it as a neighborhood potluck, but with essential services like healthcare and education. Community health workers in rural areas are a prime example. They provide primary healthcare services backed by local health authorities. Chapter 4, Co-production models. Let's talk co-production models, where subnational governments and citizens join forces like a superhero team-up, but with fewer spandex suits and awkward catchphrases. Imagine this. Instead of citizens just being passive recipients of services, they're active participants in shaping them. It's like providing feedback on a recipe, except instead of tweaking the amount of salt, you're influencing how your local government allocates resources. This model thrives on shared responsibility. The local government brings the resources to the table while citizens contribute their time, knowledge, and that invaluable on-the-ground perspective. One shining example of co-production in action is participatory budgeting. Citizens roll up their sleeves, put on their thinking caps, and help decide how those precious local government funds should be spent. It's democracy in action, folks, and it's a powerful tool for ensuring that public services actually reflect the needs of the people they're meant to serve. Chapter 5, Vertical Integration. Now things are about to get vertical. No, not in that way. We're talking about vertical integration, where different levels of government, national, regional, and local decide to play nice and work together. It's like a bureaucratic family reunion where everyone actually gets along, which, let's be honest, is a minor miracle in itself. The goal here is to ensure seamless cooperation and resource sharing across all levels of government. Think of it as a well-oiled machine, if that machine was made entirely of paperwork and red tape. Vertical integration is particularly useful for services that require both local and national involvement. Take healthcare systems, for example. You might have local clinics providing primary care, while national health programs handle those bigger picture issues like disease prevention and research. Chapter 6, Deconcentrated Service Delivery. Let's unpack deconcentrated service delivery, which sounds like a very complicated way of saying spreading things out a bit. In this model, the national government says, all right, we're still in charge, but we're going to delegate some of these administrative tasks to our regional or local offices. It's like a company deciding to open branch offices closer to its customers. The headquarters are still calling the shots, but those local offices are there to provide more personalized service. Deconcentration is a handy approach when local governments might be lacking in capacity. It allows the national government to maintain some control while ensuring that services are delivered closer to the people who need them. Think of it as a compromise between the centralized control of the national government and the localized approach of decentralization. One example of this in action is local offices of national agencies providing agricultural extension services or public health monitoring. Now let's talk about contracting out services. This is where local governments decide to outsource certain tasks to private companies or non-profit organizations. It's kind of like hiring a contractor to remodel your bathroom, except instead of a bathroom, it's essential public services. The thinking here is that by outsourcing service delivery, governments can tap into specialized expertise, potentially save some money, and focus on their core responsibilities. It's about working smarter, not harder. And sometimes that means bringing in the experts. Waste collection is a classic example of a service that's often contracted out. Let's face it, most of us would rather not think about what happens to our garbage once it leaves our curb. That's where those brave waste management companies come in, whisking away our refuse and leaving us to ponder the mysteries of the universe. And I'm starting to feel like a broken record player stuck on, but contracting out services comes with its own set of risks. Buckle up, because we're about to enter the world of network governance, where things get a little bit complicated. Imagine a web of interconnected organizations all working together to deliver public services. It's like a social network, but instead of sharing cat videos, they're tackling complex social issues. Network governance involves government agencies, private companies, civil society organizations, and even everyday citizens sharing ideas and resources. It's a collaborative approach for those wicked problems that defy simple solutions. Take urban planning, for example. Network governance provides a framework for stakeholders to come together and arrive at a plan that works for everyone. Let's talk about local empowerment and capacity building, because sometimes the best way to help someone is to give them the tools and knowledge to help themselves. This model is all about investing in the long-term capacity of local governments or communities to manage and sustain service delivery on their own. It's like that old saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Except in this case, instead of fish, we're talking about essential public services. Local empowerment involves providing training, resources, and support to local governments or community organizations. It's about building their skills, knowledge, and confidence so they can take the reins and deliver services that meet the unique needs of their communities. Imagine training programs for local government officials on financial management, public health planning, or how to navigate the labyrinthine world of bureaucratic procedures. Finally, we arrive at the digital frontier with digital and e-governance models. This is where governments ditch the dusty filing cabinets and embrace the power of technology to deliver services more efficiently and transparently. Imagine a world where you can pay your taxes, renew your driver's license, or access government services all from the comfort of your own home, preferably while wearing pajamas and avoiding any unnecessary human interaction. E-governance is all about leveraging technology to improve access to services, reduce those pesky bureaucratic delays, and empower citizens with information. It's about making government more accountable, accessible, and user-friendly. Think online platforms for citizen feedback, digital payment systems for utilities, or e-learning services in education. The possibilities are as vast as the internet itself, which is to say slightly terrifying, but also full of potential. And there you have it, a whirlwind tour of the top 10 subnational service delivery models and strategies. We've covered everything from decentralization to digitalization, and hopefully you've come away with a better understanding of how your local government can and should work for you. Because let's face it, understanding these models and strategies is crucial for improving service delivery at the subnational level. So go forth armed with this newfound knowledge and demand better from your local government. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. Because if there's one thing we've learned today, it's that knowledge is power.